Hello, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into this week's discussion board. Our question is, what areas have we seen privilege in our own lives, as well as oppression, adversity, and kind of how those have affected us? So I think it's really, it can be hard sometimes to focus on the positive because it really took me a minute. And then I started like thinking about it, I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of different privilege, right? So I'll go jump into that side first. So some privileges that I would say I got, just kind of included my education, right? I went to a smaller school, but the education I had was quality. I was able to do really well. I had small classrooms, so the opportunities to talk with teachers was present and available. So I would definitely say that that's a point of privilege that has even helped me in my education and schooling now. Along with, I was actually able to take college classes in high school, and those were all paid for by the school. And so those college classes definitely put me ahead of the game when I did graduate. I was able to come into school with, I believe, like close to 30 credit hours just from high school. And so I definitely say that is a good point of privilege, like a good example of that. Um, Maybe some areas of oppression would include growing up in a broken family. So my parents did divorce when I was 10. Some of you guys have already heard me share this. And that definitely had an effect on myself and my mental health and kind of the way um, I live, right? It affected my personality. I became a people pleaser and things like that. I battle with anxiety because of some of that stuff. And so I'd say that's maybe one area that kind of is an oppressive area, along with having a step parent rather, and addiction. And I think that was another big factor that did make life more challenging. It definitely made things not as easy. I chose to move out of my mom's house when I was 15 and go live with my grandparents to just kind of get away from some of that stuff. My mom ended up moving in with my grandparents too, and she kind of lived there on and off as her and my stepdad were navigating what they wanted for their lives, right? And if they were going to make the marriage work, if he was going to get help. So those definitely played a big factor also in my upbringing. Um, I think those are just a few examples of maybe some of the privilege and then a few examples of some of the oppression. And I know that all of these things play into our biases, they play into the way we live, they even play into what career we choose, right? I chose to go into social work to go into becoming a therapist so that way I could counsel others who have kind of walked similar lives as myself, children that have grown up in those broken homes, those homes with addiction, things like that, were some of my big reasons for choosing a career in social work. And so I feel like even the oppressive things really helped drive me and gave me an advantage in other areas. There were some areas where maybe I had to grow up a little bit sooner than others, um, but I was still given a loving home at the same time. Both my parents were very supportive, which is another point of privilege. Both encouraged me on my education journey and just really pushed me to do and to become all that I can be. Frequently encouraging things like that. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I really have to say. Thank you so much for listening.